WAAY 31 First News at 11 in high definition.
Good morning and thank you for joining us for WAAY 31 First News at 11. I'm Meredith Wood. It is Monday and a rainy Monday at that. Let's check in with meteorologist Ari Sarsalari as we get this week started. Not the best way to start off the week, but, you know, much better than last Monday. So if we're looking at things relatively speaking, I think we'll take it.
This is true. You know, if we had this type of stuff falling out of the sky last Monday, we'd have some pretty serious ice issues, I think,
Yes,
considering it was in the teens all day last Monday. But right now it's much warmer. Temps are in the upper 40s and low 50s, so it doesn't feel too bad outside. I actually didn't wear a coat to work today, and, you know, at least temperature-wise it was all right. Probably would have been good to have an umbrella, as I always tell people is a good idea to have in the rain, but I don't use one myself. Probably should just go grab one at some point. But either way, we've got a little bit of a heavier batch of rain moving through Limestone and northwestern Madison County, coming out of Harvest and Monrovia, moving up into Lincoln County. So Fayetteville, you guys are going to see that rain pick up a little bit before too long here. And it's going to be a pretty persistent rain just about all day today. You can see off toward the west around the Mississippi River, around Memphis. It does get a little bit more spotty, so into the evening we'll start to see the rain get at least a little bit more spotty. We'll get a couple more breaks between the rain, but again, expect that rain to at least stick around through this evening. It'll end around midnight. And as I mentioned, the temperature is really not too bad. 48 in Huntsville, 49 Decatur, 48 in Moulton, 53 in Florence, and Fort Payne after starting things off in the upper 30s. You guys are at 50 right now. It is going to cool off quite a bit. Once again, into the middle of the week. I'll let you know now that it's not going to be quite as bad as last week was, but we'll talk about how cool it's going to get and take a look ahead toward the weekend and the full forecast in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Ari. Authorities are investigating a fire that destroyed a home in Triana. Firefighters responded to the fire around 10:30 last night on Oregon Drive after a neighbor called and reported seeing smoke. The house is a complete loss, but no one was hurt in the blaze. The investigation continues. A shooting at a bar in Huntsville sends multiple people to the hospital. According to the police report, the incident at Benchwarmer on University Drive involved a group of juveniles. A witness to the chaos inside Benchwarmers recorded cell phone video as fights broke out early Sunday morning. Police say Hemsey took some of those injured to Huntsville Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Many responded on social media, calling the shooting disturbing, especially because of the age of those involved. Officers did take one juvenile suspect into custody at the scene. Huntsville police are looking for several people in connection with the shooting. Officers were called to the 2200 block of Bronham Avenue around 4 p.m. Saturday. Demarius Hammonds told investigators someone fired several shots at him. Huntsville Hospital treated him for a gunshot wound to the leg, but he has been released, and police do want to question witnesses. So if you have any information, call HPD. Alabama lawmakers will be in Montgomery tomorrow to kick off the start of the 2014 general session. There are a lot of big issues that will be addressed. WAAY 31's Holly Thrasher will be at the Capitol tomorrow, but joins us now with a look at some of the issues. Holly.
Meredith, of course, there's a lot going on around the state, and it is an election year, so it promises to be an eventful session. Of course, just like every year, the budget going to be a hot topic. Legislators will take a look at both the general fund and the education fund. Governor Robert Bentley expected to ask for a teacher pay raise during his State of the State address. Legislators will be tasked with funding those pay raises if the proposal is approved. Common Core will likely be back in the spotlight. The legislation aimed at making sure all students are learning the same material is very controversial, and it's likely that some legislators may attempt to get it repealed. And Attorney General Luther Strange teaming up with the legislators to push his plan to shorten the appeals process for inmates on death row. And Meredith, anything dealing with the death penalty tends to get controversial. And we also need to remember that this is an election year, so you never know what's going to happen when these guys get in campaign mode. And one last note, the State Department of Education will be releasing the list of failing schools this week. I just got off the phone with them in Montgomery. They don't have an exact date yet, but that list of schools will be released at some point this week.
All right, sounds like they're going to be very busy tomorrow and in the days ahead, you as well. So
and I will be busy too.
Hearing more for you over the next couple of days. So thanks, Holly. We appreciate it. Former Marshall County Revenue Commissioner Joey Masters is back in court today, where he's expected to enter a plea. Masters tried to plead guilty in December, but the judge refused to accept until the case was investigated further. Masters is charged with misusing $100 from an office fund, but a state audit found discrepancies in $17 million worth of assessments. Attorneys looked into the allegations and will bring you more information this afternoon on WAAY 31 First News. Good news about the water situation in West Lauderdale County. The water advisory has been lifted, which means customers can resume normal usage. Leaks drained water tanks to very low levels Wednesday. The single-digit temperatures last week are to blame. East Lauderdale is still under the conservation advisory, so continue to monitor usage until it is lifted, which could be today. A major recall for Tyson Foods involves nearly 34,000 pounds of mechanically separated chicken products that may be contaminated with salmonella. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the product was not sold in retail stores, which is the good news. They say it was produced on October 11th and shipped nationwide for institutional use. 7 people at a Tennessee prison became ill after eating the chicken. Coming up on WAAY 31 First News at 11, we'll have details on the Tennessee Valley's first ever Romanian Nights dinner. Aaron.
It's the first mind-controlled prosthetic leg. See how it works ahead.
Also, snoring can be a dangerous sign of sleep apnea. We'll have details on a new treatment that could help save your life. And meteorologist RSR Solari will take a look at the week's forecast when we come back. Stay with us.